Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Kia Simone, and let's get caught up on Real Housewives of Atlanta Reunion Part 2. I'm gonna try not to yawn in y'all face because this was some dry shit. I don't know who handles the performance evaluations, but everybody need to be in a meeting somewhere. Let's just get into it. Before we do, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. Of course, I gotta shout out my super thanksters. Thank you so much to Amber Lede, Yvette Greer, Tanya Fuller, and J-Lo. I think that's how it's pronounced. I don't know. Like, y'all really do mean the world to me, so thank y'all. Now, the mess. So, of course, part 2 picks up in the middle of Drew versus Courtney. Andy says to Courtney, it sounds like you and Ralph talked a lot about Drew's alleged affair before it hit the blogs. So what do you know? Courtney said, all I know is he was really hurt. He was very hurt by it, especially the fact that she was projecting onto him exactly what she was doing. So Andy asked Courtney, do you believe that Drew had this affair? She said, oh, absolutely. Well, you know. So then Andy turns to Drew and asks Drew, is there any truth to what Ralph told Courtney? Drew said, Courtney don't know shit about me and Ralph. She just met Ralph yesterday, and Ralph has been coaching her about what to say all season. Courtney said, coaching? She said, yeah, coaching. He's been telling you what to say all season. And yes, I agree with that. I believe that is absolutely true, but that didn't answer the question as to whether there was any truth to what Ralph told Courtney, but go ahead. Drew said, and while we talking about what's the truth, let me let you know another truth. You ever bring my child up again, I'm gonna put my foot all the way off in your ass. And of course, they played back the clip of Courtney sitting in the confessional talking to production, saying how Drew just wants to run off and be in her gay lover relationship and leave Ralph with the responsibility of the kids. Courtney said, oh shit, if that's what y'all talking about, yeah, I said it. I said it a few times and I meant to say it. Drew told her, you not a real cousin. You an unverifiable bitch. So Courtney is screaming back at Drew that you are the one with the fake storyline making their dad seem like a narcissist when you have single-handedly ruined your own children. Now she talking about somebody churn. Now, ain't this the same lady that was having a conversation about her and her child's father having to manage her adult child's life because her adult child cannot manage her own life and makes a bunch of bad decisions? Ain't this the same lady? Kenya piped up to say, see, now that's too far. That is wrong. Your ass is evil. Drew told Courtney to lay off the damn vodka, and she absolutely gives me the cousin that like to get drunk, everybody man, and then blame it on the alcohol. So Sonya interjects herself and said, listen, y'all need to stop. Kids need to be off limits. Courtney's crazy ass pipes up to say, her kids are adorable. Bitch, are you nuts? How did you just tell this lady she ruined her damn kids? The kids is up and it's your fault, but they adorable though. So since this read wasn't going the way she thought it would, Courtney decided to redirect the whole conversation. She starts talking about how Drew lied to Ralph and went to Ty's basketball game. Now Ty is the one she supposedly wanted to run off with and be in a gay lover relationship. I don't know. But anyway, Drew apparently went to Ty's basketball game. Now I don't know what she told Ralph, but it must not have been the damn truth. So Andy turns to Drew and he asks Drew, did you visit Ty in Texas? Drew said, I went to her basketball game. And that's all you went to? Drew said, look here, I don't know what Ralph's been doing. Ralph has been doing a lot of things. And if we're going to talk about that, that's a whole nother conversation. That whole, I don't know what Ralph's been doing, that tells me everything I need to know about what the hell went on in Texas. Drew said, I'm not about to sit here and go into the 9 years of my marriage because she doesn't know anything about it. And I don't blame her. I wish the hell I would break down all the ins and outs and trials and tribulations of my marriage with this side bitch. Here come Monietta. She done took her damn self off mute by, well, you're going to have to talk about it at some point. Girl, mind your damn business. Meanwhile, Courtney is off to the side whispering, liar, liar. Now, I'm just trying to figure out, when did you get all this smoke for your so-called cousin-in-law? Drew said at the end of the day, what's going on is her and Ralph have gotten together. He's coaching her, conjuring up all these things, and she's regurgitating them. So Andy sat up and asked Courtney, well, when did Ralph tell you about his plan to divorce Drew? Courtney said when he knew for sure about the affair and he had all the evidence. I said, well, just why in the hell is you the first stop on his announcement tour? Why he coming to tell you everything first? Why is he confiding in you about everything Drew is doing and not doing and where she's going and she's cheating and I'm not happy? Why, of all the family he done had over all the years, why is it your that he just picked up out the damn street and all of a sudden you the closest kin he got? All of a sudden, he doesn't have any other family to confide in. Andy said, well, when did he find all this out? When did he get all this evidence? She said, I don't really remember. I don't know. You know, Andy said, was it after Portugal? Yeah, it was. And he was really heartbroken. He was just so heartbroken about it. Why do you know all this? I got cousins I known all my damn life that keep their business to their damn self when it comes to their damn relationships. But this man who just met you at some random ass party is coming to confide all of his deepest fears and concerns with you. Girl, go to hell. So Andy asked Kandi, what do you know about this whole Drew Ty situation? Kandi said, all I know is how it came to be. I know that we were on set filming our movie and Drew mentioned to, I think it was Monyetta and to Kandi's makeup artist that her girl crush would be Ty. Well, the makeup artist passed the message to her co-star, I believe, and the co-star brought Ty the next day. I said, well, if this ain't a damn setup. Sharissa, oh, I thought she met her on the set. That's what I thought too. I thought the lady just happened to be there and they got to know each other because she was on set. You mean to tell me this girl said, oh, that would be my girl crush, and somebody showed up with the next day? Drew gonna learn every damn body ain't her friend. So Drew comes out of nowhere about, I don't like girls, but me and Ralph have had that conversation. So, you know, if I ever did that, Marlo said, you don't like girls. But wasn't Ty at Ralph's birthday party with you? Andy said, well, Sheree and Marlo, what y'all know about the situation? Sheree said, I so don't want to be in the middle of this, but I was given some information. It was dropped off at my house the other day. I said, now you would be the damn Trojan horse of this whole reunion. She claims to have gotten some mystery delivery. She don't know who it's from. It just got dropped off at her gated house that got cameras and shit on it. But what she got was a whole thread of text messages between Drew and Ty. Now, this ain't got Ralph written all over it. She said the information I was given just paints a different picture of Drew and Ty's relationship. Andy said, well, was it photographs? Sheree said, hold on, I can show you. This bitch pulled out a manila envelope. I took bitch. So now everybody is questioning, where did you actually get this from? Who delivered that shit to you since you pulling out evidence and shit? Andy said, could it be Ralph? Could it be Ralph that dropped that off at your house? I don't know. I don't know who left it at my house. I didn't see nobody. Andy starts to examine the evidence. And he said, now, if these are real, and we don't know if they're real, but if they're real, these appear to be private text messages between Drew and Ty, and they are quite incriminating. Well, just damn. Drew said they're very friendly. We're friends, girl. If lie to the bitter end was a person, it would be Drew. So they're all passing them around, looking at these messages, and Kandi starts asking, so these are real messages? Are these real texts? Drew started damn stuttering and muttering. I mean, I don't know. I ain't looked at them. I tell you this, I have seen Ralph single-handedly beat the IRS, so ain't no telling what he capable of. I said, not the dog whistle to the IRS, girl. Andy said, well, I feel bad. I wouldn't want my private text thrown out. And they decide to randomly end the segment with, well, Monyetta, before we let y'all go, so Courtney can get the fuck out of our face, I would just like to say I think it's so cool that you have an orphanage in South Africa. I just went in the left field are we? How y'all go from talking about these people as half-ass parents and they sneaking and freaking and everything else to, oh, it's so cool you have an orphanage. Monyetta said, yeah, I've had it going on 11 years now. Andy said, that's amazing. Marlo said, yeah, and send your information so that we can donate. If you don't take your fake ass straight to hell, you don't want to support that lady. You want to look good. Like, Marlo makes me sick sometimes. This is about trying to look like you're this charitable foster care queen, and you're not. That lady just said she had this orphanage for 11 years. And now, at the reunion, in front of all the cameras, is when you suddenly get the urge to support. Girl, you and that Mother May I Ask dress can go to hell. So they break for lunch and everybody goes back to their fitting rooms. Sheree goes to Marlo's fitting room and Marlo is bitch. Marlo is just so impressed by She News and by, girl, I want to subscribe to the She News, girl. Sheree said, oh yeah, you like that? Yeah, I had to do that because I'm tired of her talking about me. Every time I look, a bitch talking about me. Marlo said, girl, I already knew the restaurant wasn't shit, But I'm talking about these damn clothes. She said, tell me how to dress is $9 and change on Shein and $75 on her site. She said that is 7 times markup. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 7. Yeah, like I said, her and Sheree running the same scam, selling some overpriced bullshit. Ralph is in a dressing room getting his damn beard sprayed on. Here comes Courtney. Ralph, I said, what the fuck? She hugging the man and caressing his arm and undressing him with her eyes. And are you ready? I'm as ready as I'm gonna be. I hope y'all ready to get y'all ass whooped in court, because I don't know what you think this look like. So just as she's skinning and grinning in Ralph's face, here come Allison, Drew's sister. Courtney tried to close the door on Allison. Allison swung that door. Don't you close this damn door on me. That's my kind of sister. I'm gonna whoop your ass about my sister. Courtney turns to Ralph. Please get this bitch. You keep talking and the bitch gonna get you. Ralph's sitting there like he's scared to move. I don't know if he's scared of the Clippers or the sister, but he gonna get his ass cut one way or another. Allison said, oh, you calling me a bitch? I did. She said, but you said you don't use the word bitch. I use it now. She said, but you said you don't call people bitch. She wanted to tap that bitch one good time with that finger. Just Allison, please take a deep breath and go sit down before they get you locked up around here. Allison said, who are you? You not his cousin. I want to know too. Identify yourself so I know exactly who I'm delivering this ass whooping to. So Courtney is talking to Ralph and she's telling him this shit is crazy. Drew has a problem. She's a compulsive liar. And I mean, I know you love her. I get it. But you can't just keep letting someone do this and disrespect you. Courtney's the type of that thinks she's rescuing a deadbeat of a man from a bad marriage. And what's going to happen is you going to get him and you going to find out what kind of rotten fruit he is. Let me tell you what happens in these kinds of situations, especially when it's very, very public. Because you don't want nobody to know you got the same dog you took out that lady's yard, you take a whole lot more shit than she did. And he knows you're going to take a whole lot more shit than she did because you got a point to prove to the public. You can't take this lady man who ain't been shit over there, take him to your house, have him dog you the fuck out, and then go to the public and say, well, yeah, it didn't work. Girl, we don't give a fuck. We knew. So you got to tell us, oh no, we're happy. We're the best we've ever been. He's never been happier in a marriage. Meanwhile, you are going nuts in the 4 walls of your house because your ass is miserable with that lady dog that you took up out her yard. If that man really don't like that woman, he'll leave that woman of his own volition. And if he really want to be with you, he'll come find you when he leaves that woman. But what you are is a bridge. You are nothing more than a means to an end, because men like Ralph don't like to leave with nowhere to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to secure you. I'm going to tell you how you so much better than her. She can't hold a candle to you. I'm so miserable over there. Would you please open the doors of your heart and your house to me? And your stupid ass going to be right. Yeah, she ain't shit. She over there ruining the kids and painting him out to be a narcissist. And bitch, when he get in your house and you find out just what kind of trifling, tragic monster of a man he is, I don't want to hear shit. He's the type that'll use you to get out and over. And as soon as he feels like he has the stability, he's going to tell you, you know, I've just been married for so long and I've always been dedicating my life to other people. And I just need time for myself. I need to find myself. And you're going to find yourself alone, hurt, and embarrassed. Good luck. When I tell y'all I can't stand that bitch, Courtney make me think I like Drew. She works my damn nerves. So when they come back from break, they decide to resume the second part of the reunion in the damn gutter, because we got to hear about all the nasty shit that they think is sexy. They're talking about Kandi and her sex toy line and how she served over 100,000 orgasms. Girl, I don't give a fuck. So the first viewer question is to the group, but it's about Kenya. And they said, why is everybody acting like Kenya eating is such a big deal? It's 2023. Everyone eats ass. No. Everybody don't. And I truly hope Kenya ain't making that part of her damn routine with these men who she can't keep. Lord God. And they said, don't act like she's on an island here. That bitch is on an island. Her and Kandi are on an island together. Sheree, Sonya, and Drew said, I ain't never ate ass for real. So then they start running down Kandi's freak resume about what's the freakiest thing you've done. And they talking about orgies and when I've slept with, 4 people. Girl, here's the thing. When your claim to fame and your talent is supposed to be that you are a singer and an actress and all of these great theatrical things, why is your whole persona about sex? sex. So I guess since we getting a whole bunch of other unnecessary information, Marlo just comes out of left damn field. You guys, you want to know my best sex? My best sex was with a Gemini, and Andy's a Gemini. Andy said, well, Marlo, I've asked you to keep our sexual encounters secret. Just, you know who Marlo is? Marlo is the who can afford to get in, but don't fit in. So then we move on, thank God, and we get into Sonia and all of her family drama. So before they get into her family drama, they discuss her recent miscarriage. So Andy starts by extending his condolences to her, and he asked her when the miscarriage happened. She said it was about 1 to 2 weeks after filming wrapped. She had traveled for a meet, but prior to the meet, she had gone to the doctor. She knew that her pregnancy was no longer viable and that she needed to have a D&C, but she thought she had time to go to the scheduled event. Well, she gets to the scheduled event in New York and her body decides it's done. But on the bright side of things, she did get pregnant again about a month later. She said this time she kept it to herself until she was out of the first trimester. And now she's 4.5 months pregnant and the baby is due on Christmas. So Andy asked Sonia, did she get a lot of support from her friends as she was going through that? She said all of the other ladies reached out to her and offered gestures of support, but she was really disappointed in Kenya. She said Kenya didn't show up like she thought she would. She said, Kenya, it's like you just dismissed it, like you just forgot about it, didn't care what was going on. Kenya said, I did call you, Sonia. I called you and you didn't answer. Sonia said, I wouldn't lie about that. So Kenya starts giving some speech about how she and Sonia were planning on being pregnancy twins. They were going to be pregnant together. Girl, Kenya, what? Kenya really lives in a fantasy world of her own making. Sonia said exactly, which is why I was disappointed. Kenya said, that makes sense. I understand that. She said, but I promise on everything that I really did reach out to you. But look at the blessing you have now, and you're absolutely stunning. And that's all well and good. And I'm real glad they made up in that moment. But is it me, or does Kenya have a whole lot of something in her lips? I don't know what Kenya is doing to her face, but I want her to leave it alone. So the next viewer question to Sonia was, can you see how poorly you treat your family? Though you employ them, you do not own them. Are you doing anything to improve the relationship? Sonia said, well, first of all, I don't treat my family poorly. She said, but it is just difficult to balance work and family, especially when you employ most of your family. Well, my thing is, Sonia may not necessarily treat her family poorly, but she is inconsiderate. And I think when she says, you know, it's difficult to balance family and work when your family works for you, I think what's missing in the balance is consideration and respect. So I'm sure that she loves her family and she doesn't intend to treat them poorly. But when you are inconsiderate to other people's lives and needs and wants and what they have going on, or when you don't think about reciprocating to them the support that they give to you, it can make people feel inconsiderate and disrespected. So I think she has to get to a place where she considers them as much as she wants them to consider her. She said her family has moved out, but they're only 5 minutes away. And according to Marlo, she's over there all the time. Why don't you mind your damn business? Take your husband with you when you go, because why? You know where she at all the damn time. Andy turns his line of questioning to Kenya, and he said, well, while we're on the subject of fertility and childbirth issues, Kenya, are you any closer to getting Brooklyn a brother in some bunk beds? She said, well, actually, Brooklyn wants a sister now. I said, and that's exactly why you don't plan families with a damn toddler. But she has decided that her best path forward is adoption, so she does plan to adopt a child. So the next viewer question to Sonia was, how can you call yourself a friend to Kenya when in one breath she's hosting your charity event and raising money for you, but in the next breath you're shading and dragging her relationship? Sonia said, what damn relationship? And I was confused as hell too. Kenya said, it's the reason I unfollowed you. Child, they had to show us a clip, because what is you talking about? They showed the clip of Sonia asking the only question that made sense. Why are we skating past Roy was in Marlo's DMs, but when Martell was supposedly in your DMs, it was World War III? Kenya said, the thing is, I like Sonia, but I think what happens is Sonia gets with Marlo and she doesn't always have the ability to separate her biases. Marlo over there mumbling herself into a damn mental breakdown about, yeah, she over there. She keeps saying Marlo. If she says Marlo one more time, I'm going to tattoo my name on her. Girl, go to bed. Sonia said, I don't have any kind of issue with being unbiased. She said, what I was doing is pointing out the clear double standard. standard. Kenya said, well, when have you ever called Marlo out for a double standard since you calling out, since you the damn moral majority? She said, I told Marlo she was dead ass wrong for recording all that shit, sending it to LaToya and starting all that shit. I told her that, and I told her that on camera. So then Andy brings up some tweet that Kenya made online about Marlo had to be shamed into raising her paddle and donating money at her bestie Sonya's event. Marlo said, now y'all know that's some bullshit. I called my accountant and had the money transferred right away. Sonya said what happened was Marlo came to me and told me she refused to raise her paddle and donate money on Kenya's watch. If Petty was a person. Kenya said, well, I find it very interesting that you support her in that because Marlo nor Sheree raised their paddle. Sheree said, girl, I was the first one to give money. Mind your business. Kenya, did your check clear? Why are you talking about everybody else? Sonya said, my bottom line issue with you, Kenya, is that I have genuinely tried to be your friend. And sometimes I sit back and watch and wonder if you're being genuine with me because I do feel like you can be calculating and I feel like you do things on camera that serve you well. It's a good look for you to be hosting a fundraiser, but then off camera, you're not necessarily the same with me. Kenya said, girl, I didn't have to give you my time or my money. Sonya said, well, pump your brakes because you ain't gave me shit. What you did was donated to help 18 single mothers defeat homelessness, but you didn't give me shit. Sonya said, the way I'm thinking about it is if that's my friend and I just told her I almost lost my life, wouldn't she at least reach out? Well, Kenya just sitting there looking dumb. So the next viewer question was from Sheree and it was to Kandi. And the question started by explaining that, Kandi, you act like you're above everyone. You hardly ever show up for the girls and don't ever want to discuss any of your personal business that doesn't show you in a good light. Don't you think it's time that you step down or at least take a break? Well, Kandi said, well, first of all, that's a lie because I've shared plenty of my personal business over the years. And I showed Kandi and the gang, showed all the dirty laundry about what we had going on in our business. Again, that's about your business. And that's a spin-off show that you got as a result of being on this show. So why on this show do you never want to talk about anything other than your businesses? And then when they're not doing well, you don't want to discuss them. Why? Andy said, well, you have shown every nook and cranny of your relationship with your mom, which has not always been pretty. Girl, that was code for we ain't got shit else for your mama. We ain't trying to see your mama no more. We done seen every angle of that bullshit we can see. I'm gonna need you to find a new pony. Kandi said, well, yeah, that's true. I would also like to say that, Sheree, you know the most about taking breaks. Sheree said, you damn right I do. She said, I keep getting asked back because you motherfuckers are lackluster. Well, damn. They talked about Kandi pursuing her EGOT and that she finally got nominated for a Tony. She was really excited to be at the Tony Awards. It was a dream come true. None of that was on the show. So why y'all are telling us is beyond me, but okay. So then we get to the whole Marlo versus Kandi beef section of the whole reunion. Well, they start out with basically, Marlo, why did it take you 2 years to realize you was mad with Kandi? Marlo said, Andy, it's a shooting. It's on the news. It's a shooting at Kandi Burruss's restaurant. My nephew, who used to work for Kandi Burruss, was just shot 2 years ago. How is that not triggering? I mean, well, if you hop, skip, and jump, I could see how you could end up there. Andy said, but wait a minute, were you mad 2 years ago? Marlo said, I was mad the day that I left her house. Kandi said, but we had an emotional moment. We hugged. Marlo said, yeah, well, I wanted more. Kandi said, and within a few days of the funeral, you were texting me about how to get set up on some service to make some money out y'all. She said, so you were more concerned about me getting to a bag than you were concerned about sharing any kind of funeral arrangements with me for me to send flowers. So Andy asked Kandi, if you had it to do over again, would you do anything differently? She said, I don't feel like I did anything wrong. Marlo said, so Kandi, you don't feel like you should have sent a flower, a chicken wing, nothing? Kandi said, so you mean to tell me we fell out this bad because I didn't send you some flowers? Marlo said, well, we didn't fall out. We didn't fall out that bad, but I did expect more from you. She said, but I'm okay. She said, I mean, you could have called my sister and at least sang a song or something. I said, now see, Marlo, now you just saying anything. Kandi said, I don't know her like that. Who the hell calls and sings a song? Girl, what? Andy asked Marlo why she was so pressed about Drew's word choice when it came to the incident at Kandi's establishment. Marlo said, because if it was me, they weren't going to pick and choose their damn words when it come to me. You see, I brought up the incident and she act like I call her damn she around here like, yeah, ask her about the face she flashed like. So somehow Kandi decides to drag Sheree into this between her and Marlo. She said, well, Sheree, this ain't shade at you, but it's shade at you. Now, y'all want to hold me to this high standard, but Sheree, not one person brought up what happened with you and your failure to launch. Sheree said, that's a damn lie. You did. Kandi said, my point is that stuff wasn't going right for me, and everybody wants to hold me to the fire. Marlo said, what stuff wasn't going right for you? Kandi said, that was negative for my business. Marlo said, negative stuff happened there all the time. Who cares? Kandi starts going off about, she just wanted y'all to challenge me about what was going on in my business. No, it basically proves the point that you do pick and choose what you want to show. And all you want to show on this show is that you have these businesses that you want to advertise, and you only want them presented in a good light. Now, if all you have to offer as a storyline is these businesses, and then you start wanting to cherry pick what we can see about that, like what are you here for? So now Kandi feels like she's held to this higher standard than everybody. She told Marlo, the only reason you hold me to that higher standard is because you're jealous of how things always go well for me. Marlo said, girl, what? Andy said, Marlo, are you jealous of Kandi? Marlo said, I like a soft life. She worked too hard and take care of too many damn people for me. Drew tries to jump in about, this should be between Kandi and Marlo. All Marlo had to do is go talk to Kandi. Marlo said, you shut your ass up. You worry about your damn marriage. You're not going to talk about my marriage. That's what we're not going to do. Marlo said, that's exactly what we're going to do. And that's damn near what they spent the rest of the show doing. Girl, bye. Drew told Marlo, get you a husband and then we can talk. Marlo said, get you a wife. So Sonya jumps in and tries to mediate. She's trying to reason with Kandi and telling Kandi that, listen, you were upset because she was trying to attach the shooting to your business, which is understandable. But Marlo was upset because of the particular word choice. Well, Kandi ain't trying to hear that shit. Kandi said she can't change in the reason. First she was saying, why can't we say shooting? Don't nobody never say nothing about Kandi. So Sonya said, well, no, that was her issue with Drew. That wasn't necessarily her issue with you. Her issue with you is she felt like you could have been there for her more. Kandi said, you know what? I'm not about to argue with you about her. Sonya said, I'm not arguing now. You can argue if that's all you know how to do, but I'm trying to have a conversation with you. Kandi said, this whole season, I've been going back and forth with you about her, and that shouldn't be. No, this is part of the other point, is nobody can even have a conversation with you. Kandi is above reproach. There's nothing you can say to her. There's nothing you can question about her. Sonya said, you know what? Forget it. Marlo and Kandi agreed that they will be cordial going forward, moving on. Now, the next segment is Drew versus Ralph. Now, apparently Ralph is the only husband that got an invitation this season because, ain't nobody here but him. So Ralph comes out trying to look like the somber husband. Drew sitting up there looking like the distraught wife. Andy asks Ralph, so how you doing? Oh, the best I can. Boy, if you don't go to... Andy asks Drew, how does it feel to be out here with Ralph? And she's looking off into the distance, refusing to answer in her defiant distress. Kenya said, now, Drew, you have to answer. Say something. Drew finally turns around and said, we're here. And she makes eye contact with Ralph, and it could just be me. But it looked like them motherfuckers was trying not to laugh. Now, if they is running a scam and this is to keep her job on this show and make it look like they have this whole storyline of getting divorced but still living together while they can't stand each other, and he probably dealing with this cousin that he done picked up off somebody else's damn family tree. Now, if that's what's going on, y'all are low down and desperate. Even Andy looked back and forth like, what the hell? Why are y'all looking at each other like that? Because they playing you. So after they show their season package and all the bullshit they done been through, Drew reaches down into her bag and hands Andy a peach to hand to Ralph, about that's why he's here. He wants a peach. If you don't take your damn groceries and get the hell on. So Andy asked about them racing down to the courthouse. They done filed for divorce. And he asked, so how are y'all managing living together as y'all are filing for divorce? You know, do y'all have rules? Ralph said, Drew, you want to answer that? She said, no, I'm letting you have your moment. Have it. Ralph said, I don't know what you're doing right now. Drew said, I don't know why you're here. Andy said, well, because we invited him. So Ralph starts his speech about, first and foremost, I love my wife with all my heart, but I'm here today to make sure that my children have a correct representation of who their father is, because Drew has said a lot of stuff that's slanderous. It's just wrong. So Andy asked, have they told their children that they're separating? And they said no. Now, y'all done did all that racing to the courthouse, tearing down the blogs, and y'all ain't even told the churn y'all getting ready to tear down the house. So the next viewer question to Drew and Ralph was that you all seemed so happy throughout the season. Was it all just a front, or did something happen after filming? So Drew starts explaining how she believes in marriage, and there's a lot that has gone on in her marriage that is not right, and she has protected her husband. Andy said, what you mean protected? I'm like, hiding infidelity? Now Ralph looking at the ground and no, look up here. So Drew just looks over at Ralph like, what you want me to say? Ralph said, go ahead, talk. Drew said, no, there are just certain things that I don't think should be put out there. Yeah, you might not want to go slinging no dirt if your hands ain't clean. So Andy asked Ralph his damn self, were you faithful to her? He said, I mean, it would have come out already. Andy said, that wasn't the question. Were you faithful to her? Ralph said, yeah, I have. I mean, of course. Ralph looked like he lying. Andy asked the same question to Drew. Drew said she has been faithful. Ralph said, well, what about Ty? Well, see, well, maybe you should have threw the dirt. Drew said, are you really going to play in my face right now? He said, first of all, Drew, I don't want us to go back and forth. I really just want this to be an opportunity for us to talk. No, he wants you to incriminate your damn self on TV. I want you to say, yeah, you've been dealing with this woman while we've been married so I can drag your ass through the courthouse. Drew said, now just a few days ago, you came to me apologetic. Now you want to sit here and play in my face because you got an audience? You've been doing this for the last 3 years and I'm tired. Drew said, you have always chosen other women over me. You have time and time again put me in situations to be embarrassed, and I have stayed with you and stayed the course with you. Well, get off this damn course. So Ralph said he's the one who initiated the whole divorce. Drew said, yeah, he went and filed for divorce after he found out that I was talking to a divorce attorney. Andy asked, what I want to know, why does it matter who files first? Drew said, because he was trying to beat me to it, and I don't understand why he racing to the courthouse rather than racing to fix his marriage, girl, because he don't want it. Drew said Ralph dropped out of couples counseling and blocked the damn doctor. She said, now you blocked the doctor, but then you went and hooked up with Mimi and spread this whole story about me and Ty. Ralph said, that's a damn lie, because I ain't get this from Mimi. I got this from your assistant. Drew said, that's a lie. Kandi and Marlo said, no, it's not. He actually is going around telling people that. Drew is in shock and denial. No, he did not. Yes, he did. Who did he tell? Well, you know what? Let's talk about it. Child, the assistant is the same man that was sitting in the trailer that she was reading her lines with. Marlo said, is it true, Drew? Drew said, you know what? Don't lie on his name. Girl, the whole cast lying on your damn assistant. She said, Ralph is the streets. Ralph is who this all started from. So you think Ralph has corrupted your assistant as well? You think Ralph is who told your assistant who be on that movie set where they brought Ty to meet you? You think Ralph is who manipulated him to tell Ralph and others that shit? See, the problem with Drew and Ralph is nobody has clean hands in their marriage. They both full of shit and they both covered in dirt. So Drew said, all right, you want to fuck with me? She pulls out the big guns. She reached behind her, pull out her phone, passed the phone to Andy and said, read that. Ralph said, oh, I love it. I love it. She said, yeah, I know you do. Read that shit, Andy. Andy said, oh, it's a woman. Child, they all relieved that at least it's a woman with a big ass. And she's saying, are you going to bring that back to me? Drew said she got a lot more where that came from because she been dealing with this bullshit with him since 2017 when they were in Chicago. She said this is not for the show. They've been dealing with this shit. And she was hoping that he was going to come out here and apologize to her in front of the cameras just like he had done in private. She was hoping that he would do right by her, but he just couldn't do that. He had to come out here and embarrass her again. Well, what did you expect? This man has given you a decade of embarrassing you on and off TV. Why would today be any damn different? So when Andy asked Ralph where the damn picture come from, this man told him it was a catfish. Just, if you don't get your ass out our face, He said, I mean, you don't see any response to me. You don't see me sending anything. You so full of shit. And then Ralph goes on to make the point that they text me and Drew that same photo, so you're not even showing all the information. Well, that leads me to further believe this is somebody you're dealing with that wants your wife to know. So Andy asked Ralph what happened while he was in Vegas. Ralph said, that's a great question. Nothing. I was on a work trip. You's a damn lie. They asked, was he in Vegas trying out for the chocolate magic Mike thing that the lady who was rubbing him down was supposed to be producing? He said, no, Drew made that whole thing up. Girl, what? Drew said, Kandi, didn't you call one of the people who was working with that production and they told you that Ralph was down there trying out for them? So they show a clip of Kandi in the confessional reaching out to this Black Magic Mike producer, asking if Ralph is going to be auditioning for them. And he said he is, and Kandi is in just utter shock. So now suddenly it is a production, but he wasn't going there to try out for it. He was only going for his work trip, which happened to be at the same time as these tryouts. So Drew is expressing how Ralph and all of his indiscretions have triggered her insecurities over the years. And she's talking to the ladies, I think kind of in general, just venting about the frustrations of dealing with an unfaithful man. And she's telling the ladies, don't act like you don't know what it feels like to be embarrassed by a man, to go out and have women approach you and tell you that they're dealing with your man, or to have women text you, or have your husband just leave the house and you don't know where he's going. And then he's gone for days and you try to talk to him about it in counseling and he won't talk to you about it in counseling. She said he leaves counseling, doesn't feel like he owes me an explanation. He moves out of the bedroom and I'm supposed to be waiting on what? And my heart absolutely went out to Drew in that moment. Now, I don't care for Drew in terms of her character on the show, but I do identify with being a woman and what it's like to be embarrassed by a man. And I truly felt for her in that moment. I really felt like she was pouring from her heart. Drew brought up the text messages that were mysteriously delivered to Sheree's door. And he said, wait, what? I did what? Andy said these text messages got delivered to Sheree. Can I see them? You sent them. So Andy asked Ralph, are you accusing Drew of being with multiple women? He said yes. And she even went so far as to bring Ty to my birthday party. I saw multiple pictures of it and the streets have been talking. So Drew tells him, dude, you just told me you've been getting blowjobs around the world. So what the? So he starts out trying to deny it. And Drew, that's silly. That just, listen to how that sounds. It just sounds silly. So they said, but did you say that? I mean, yeah, because it's something silly to say. This man is sick. So Andy asked about the whole adoption issue and Ralph restated his position. Ralph said the way that he sees adoption is there are only 3 reasons for it: abuse, abandonment, and death. He said in this case, the child's father is alive and well and wants to be in the child's life. Why would I just overstep that? And that's the funny thing, is men like Ralph are more loyal and operate on a code of morals and ethics with other men more so than he will with his own wife. So Andy gets around to asking them, do they still love each other? And he, yeah, of course I love my wife. And she, yeah, of course I love my husband. And I was hoping we could get around to reconciliation after all that you just told us. After all the years and levels of mud he done dragged you through, you want reconciliation? Well, if you go back, leave us out your shit. Leave us out the bullshit from now on. She goes on to say Ralph does not give her a safe space, that he actually says your feelings directly to her all the time. Drew said, I've given you all of my 30s and you've consistently hurt me. Ralph said, are you saying I haven't given you a good life? She said, you talked about my mom, you talked about my dad, and you want to go back? You banned my sister. He said, girl, we all banned your sister. These people are nuts. She said, you constantly throw dirt on my name and you think it's a game. She said, and then you go and coach your cousin Courtney to come against me. She said, why would you coach some random woman to come against your wife? Because he dumb. And Drew starts to tear up as she's asking him, why would you do some shit like that? This motherfucker said, Drew, you're acting right now. You're acting. Drew said, this shit. I'm done. I'm out. She went walking off set. She said she's not putting up with this. Yeah, that's the energy you need to have. So Drew stopped off. She's back in her dressing room. They're touching up her makeup. She's going off about how they all want to say I'm acting, but I'm not acting and I'm not dealing with this. Allison said, tell him about the PI. Girl, Allison want to fight bad. So Andy asked Ralph, were you getting blowjobs around the world? He said, of course not. So Andy asked him, how did it make you feel to see Drew walk off like that? He said, well, of course, I always want to support my wife. Andy said, well, it don't always read like that on camera. Kenya said, well, you can't really say that you're supporting her when she comes to you and tells you that someone calls her a bitch and she doesn't like it. And you tell her, well, everyone calls you a bitch, so get over it. Andy said, or another example is when you make Ike and Tina jokes, that could be a problem too. So Kenya starts talking about how this is just like what Mark did when I was telling him about how some of the other housewives were saying things about me. And he told me I'm a big girl and I can handle it myself. Girl, we don't give a damn about Mark. This ain't about you. This ain't your moment. We don't give a damn. We know everybody remind you of Mark. Mark ain't shit and ain't nobody else shit either. We know. We understand. Kenya said, how is it support when you're siding with her enemies all the time and you have Courtney here who's armed with all this information that she got from you? Ralph said, well, that's not even how it happened. I mean, Courtney came in as my cousin and we're building our own relationship. Kenya said, you don't even know that woman. Like, get the out of our face with that bullshit. So Kenya's explaining to Ralph that she's not trying to overstep her boundaries, but she is trying to offer some reasonable advice from somebody who's been in a similar situation. She said because looking at them and how they interact reminds her so much of her relationship with Mark. Ralph said, oh, okay, that's nice. But let me ask you something real quick. How long were you married? Kenya said 2 years. Why? Does that matter? He said, yeah, it does. Well, let me tell you why it don't. Because he's the perfect example that you can be married for years on end and still don't know shit about marriage. Andy asked, do they have any closing arguments before they send Ralph back off to the puppy pound where his ass belongs? Drew said she ain't got nothing to say. Ralph decided to take his opportunity to tell Drew that he does love her and ultimately he just wants to see her happy. Well, if you get the hell on, that might happen. And they wrapped the reunion up with Drew performing a new song that was inspired by she and Ralph's drama called Throw Us Away, girl. Listen, Drew has a beautiful voice. I think the song was really good. She performed very well. But the performance overall was just cringy to me. When she turned and started singing to Ralph, why? So after the performance, Andy asked Ralph, what did he think of the performance? And he just looked around for a second and he said, okay, it's a good song. You know, Drew is an incredible talent. Yeah, and notice that every time she has a moment to display or platform her incredible talent, he does some bullshit like this. They wrapped it up with a wine toast, and that's it. That's all, and I ain't got no more. Now, on another note, I did see that the designer responded to Sheree's receipts in part 1 of the reunion, and he said them is fraudulent. She full of shit. She did not pay me the monies I was supposed to get paid. That man said she came to the right man with no plan. She had absolutely nothing. He built that brand from scratch for her. He built that show from the floor up for her, and she wouldn't even acknowledge him on screen. That man said he created the She Buy Sheree as we know it. All she created is She Buy, she don't pay. But that's it, that's all, and I ain't got no more. Thank you so much for coming down here listening to me and letting me get this off my chest. Please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. And in the meantime, until next time, just like every time, I love you and I mean it. Bye.